Hi everyone, let's talk about everything that needs to be done in and out of the trailer before we can leave our campsite so that our next drive is as safe as possible.
Yeah, it's a bit of a long list, but we are going to show you how to remember it all using Google Keep. So, here we go.
Starting with the inside of the trailer, I tend to work from one direction to the other, but our handy checklist makes sure that we get everything. So, first thing on our checklist is make sure that everything on the counters is put away. So I'll make sure that the kitchen table's empty, the kitchen counters, the bathroom counter. So I can check off everything is off the counters. Then the next thing on our list is to check that the shower door is latched. We have a glass shower door, so we want to make sure that in transport that's not going to slide around and potentially break. So we make sure that the latch is secure, and we even do a little double check by pulling on it. Toilet paper being away. One time we were driving along, we had forgotten to put the toilet paper, that's why it's now on the checklist, and it had unrolled all over the bathroom, and it just, one of those messy, annoying things that you don't want to have to deal with when you get to your new destination. Same with our hand towel. That has the potential for falling when you're traveling, especially if you hit some bumpy roads, so we also make sure that's away. This might sound a little bit kind of silly to put every little thing on the list, but that is how we actually remember that everything gets done. The next thing that we do is make sure that the cupboard doors are all strapped in. And we do that just to make sure that things aren't potentially bouncing around and a door accidentally falling open. We've never had that issue, but an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? So we currently just use some leftover twist ties, things that we've just collected in packaging when you order things online or buy something. We keep those twist ties and we've been using them as a trailer. This is not the only solution. There are many other solutions that you can try. So I'm going to strap this around the bathroom door, and I'll do the same with the other 5 sets of cupboards. The next thing on our list is to make sure that the bathroom door is closed, because we would hate for that to swing around and bounce around and keep hitting the fridge. Other doors that we have to secure are the bedroom doors. So we have some latches that we just make sure that they're secured and that the door is open. The next thing on my list is to make sure that our TV is strapped in. Now on a lot of our trips we don't actually bring the TV, so I'm gonna just check that off. But if it is, we make sure that there's a strap that goes across the front of it so that in case there's a bump or something that it's not going to tilt or jump off of its bracket and break all over the floor. The next thing that we have to put away is our security camera. And we make sure all of the windows are closed. So I'll go around and just double check. Every single window in the rig is closed. Now because we have a pet, well, we have a cat actually to be more specific, we have a litter box that we have to care for. And we typically scoop that every day, at least once a day. We have a video about that if you want to check that out. But we make sure before we leave that it's also been scooped, our hands are washed, and everything's ready to go. Then that the garbages are emptied. Yes, it is. That the pump and water heaters are off. And this is where we could stand for changing the order of things on our list, because I've now had to open this door and I've already checked it off. But anyways, practice makes perfect. So these are off. And that's the beauty of having a digital checklist, actually. We can put this and order it as many times as we want on the fly as we go. It's awesome. We can add things. We don't have to worry about printing out a new one. It's wonderful. Okay, moving on. The next thing I make sure is that the floor, especially around the slide area, has been swept. And the reason we do that is to make sure that when we pull the slide in, that it's not going to catch any little stones or rocks that might scratch the floor. The other thing that we do before we bring the slide in, if it's been rainy or if we've been in a particularly dusty or dirty area, is to wipe the outside of the slide. Now that's typically on our outside checklist, but there's a dependency there that we can't bring the slide in until that's done. So it's on our indoor list to make sure that I remind Jay to do it. And then once that's done, the slide can come in. The next thing I'm going to do is make sure all our lights are turned off, because as you can see we're filming right now, we have all the lights on, so we'll be turning those off next. Another thing that we like to do is throw some ice cubes down our toilet into the black tank so that while we're driving it kind of helps slosh around and break things up a little extra. We use enzymatic tablets to go into the toilet as well when we're using it, but we just feel like this adds like a little extra, I don't know, scrubbing action. And then the last thing that we do is make sure that Benny is all packed and ready to go. So we'll put him in his carrier and move him into the truck. So that's it. That's the whole indoor list that we cover while we are getting ready to go on a trip. I'm now going to pass you on to the outside of the trailer, and Jay will show you what we do out there.
We are ready to do the outdoor portion of our departure checklist now, and I've got it all loaded up on Keep here. So, first thing, check that the awning is in. Don't want to be driving with that awning out. Next, stair handle in. Yep, good. Stairs up. And actually we usually put that like that. Next, we want to put all our stabilizers up. Next, we want to make sure our propane is either on or off, depending on which way we want it. Typically, where it's legal, we leave it on so we can keep our fridge running while we're driving. Next, we want to make sure our water hose is detached and our electricity is detached.
Don't want to drive away with that hooked up still. We almost did that once, actually.
There was one time we tried to move the trailer where the electricity was still hooked up. Thankfully, one of our camping neighbors yelled out and I heard him and stopped like just before disaster. So thank you to him. Next, we make sure that our outdoor kitchen is all cleaned and closed and locked up. So we want to make sure our water is either filled or emptied depending on where we're going. If we're going to a place with hookups, we'll have it empty. If we're going to a place to boondock, we'll have it full. We need to make sure our trailer mirrors are on. I already put them on, so we're good. So next, we want to make sure our chocks are out. So this is actually something that I learned, that if you don't take your chocks out before you start hooking up, sometimes it can be a little bit harder to hook up. The hitch seems to go on better if there's a little bit of play back and forth. So that's why we take our chocks out before we start hitching up. It's also a good idea to put your slide in before you take your chocks out, otherwise it's a bit tricky. I'm just getting our weight distribution bars out and ready for hitch up. And our sway bar. All right, we're just about ready to hitch up. Next, we have to make sure that the Benny is safely stowed. Another checklist item, hitch locked completely down and forward. Now we need to raise and install the weight distribution bars. Now we'll attach the trailer cord.
The electric?
Chains under and crossed. Breakaway cable. Now we're going to put the sway bar on. Now we're gonna raise the tongue jack, and I have a note here, not too far, because if you go too far, you burn out the fuse. Yes, we did learn that the hard way.
Twice.
Next, you want to check your tire pressure and your lug nuts. I've done that already, so good to go. You want to make sure if you've used leveling blocks that this would be the time to go forward and pick them up and pack them. We've got to check and wipe our solar panels. I just looked at them yesterday and they look good, so check. We want to get our little wood piece, throw that in. And I've got another checklist item to make sure that our tonneau cover is on. Because one time we drove off with it wide open. Next, we want to check our brake and signal lights. So I've already got the four-ways on. Yep. So they're both flashing. Now I'm going to go do the brakes and Mel's going to check. So we've also made a checklist item to close our trailer garage door, this thing here. Because one time we drove almost an hour on like open highways with it open. Thankfully we didn't lose anything, but yeah, that's a good one to remember. We've got two notes for when we're on a campsite. One to toss all of our garbage before we leave, and the second to dump our tanks if necessary. We're just leaving from home right now, so those aren't applicable. Check, check. All right, on into the truck. So now we want to make sure that tow mode is on. And we want to make sure that our house garage door is closed because we almost left one time leaving it wide open. So, garage door closed. Perfect. Check, check. And the very last checklist item is once we're completely straight, we adjust our trailer mirrors. This one is way off. Almost pretty good, just up a smidgen. If you don't have the Google Keep mobile app yet, just open up your app store to search for it and install it. Note that we're using the Android version. The iPhone version may look slightly different. To create your own checklist, press the plus icon at the bottom right. Enter a title. Now press the plus button at the left and select tick boxes or check boxes. Then start entering your items. You can drag and drop to change the order or press the X to delete things. To share the list with your camping partner, press the ... at the bottom right, then Collaborator. Select the person you'd like to share with, then any changes either of you make will be synchronized. As you're going through your checklist, click the checkbox to mark an item complete. And once you've completed the list, you can use the Untick All Items feature to mark everything incomplete again for the next time.
If you're thinking, that's all great, but I don't even remember to use the lists I already have, like me, here are a couple of really cool features. The alarms icon will let you set a reminder based on date, time, or location, so you never forget to use your list. I've used the location alert a number of times when I don't know exactly when I'll arrive at the place where I need the note or checklist. So what's on your departure checklist? Is there anything that we haven't considered that we should be? We really love using Google Keep for our checklist because it's already on our phone, which makes it really easy to use, and it's versatile, and we can personalize it to our own specific needs.
Yeah, we use Google Keep for a lot of other things too. Meal planning, shopping lists. There's no limit to what you can store in Google Keep. So give it a try, let us know what you think. And if you use a different checklist app, let us know which one in the comments. Meanwhile, if you found this video useful, we would really appreciate if you could give us a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. It helps us out and it helps us spread our channel all over the internets.
And in the meantime, keep on living the life you've imagined. All right, that's the bathroom, that's the, all right.
And forward. It's important to cross your chains because, I forget why.
Tell us why we cross our chains. We do it because we were told to, and we know it's a safety thing. It's really easy to use, and we can